We know now that Senator Rand Paul voted no on this piece of legislation. Senator Tom Tillis voted no on this piece of legislation. Senator Susan Collins voted no on this piece of legislation. But our colleague Sarah Ferris, who was in the chamber, said that Senator Lisa Murkowski gave a quiet but affirmative vote for this legislation. Obviously, that is a significant development given the lengths that leadership went to try to win over her support. She had several concerns in this bill, from Medicaid to food stamps cuts in her state, and she was really successful in winning some major things for the state of Alaska, including the fact that a key provision that would have shifted some of the burden of covering the cost of the supplemental nutrition assistance program known as food stamps back in her state, she was carved out. Alaska was carved out, as was Hawaii. That just shows you how far leadership was working to try to win up and shore up her vote.
And when you say carved out, just to be clear, it means that the cuts that are coming to most states will not come to the state of Alaska and Hawaii as well.
Exactly. Non-contiguous states in the United States will not be subject to that change. We'll see how that goes over among House conservatives once this gets back over to their chamber, of course.
It's true, by the way. That is literally what happened.
That's what Senator Paul said.
Which is so crazy, because like Rand Paul's disagreement with this bill is not my disagreement with this bill. Rand Paul's disagreement with this bill is that there's expenditures in it and it increases the deficit. So that's what he's mad about. And even though he's mad about that, just like the quote unquote Tea Party movement backed Freedom Caucus is supposed to be quote unquote mad about this, because that's what they're mad about. They're mad that like it increases the deficit. I'm a deficit hawk. How dare you? Okay. Rand Paul is correct when he says you cut a side deal where you eliminated some of the cuts from Alaska, and then you fucked over the rest of the country, which is true.
This one was easy. Senator, we've got the...
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so...
Yeah, you wouldn't understand it. It's Alaskan business. See yourself out.
When people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests, but I...
Do I like this bill? No. Did I inevitably concede? Yes. It's nasty business, man. It is nasty, nasty business. When Mitch McConnell was told about the calls coming in, telling him not to cut Medicaid, his response was, they'll get over it. I can't think of another instance where they're just so transparent about how little they care about the working poor. A part of the reason why there is no real momentum behind the Democrats is because the Democrats don't actually convincingly tell a story that they're on the side of the fucking working class. And this is precisely the reason why when the election cycle comes around, the Republican demons get to lie actively to their fucking base of support and even pick up low propensity voters aggressively, because the Democrats are also servile to corporate interests. Sure, Democrats won't pass a package like this. Never. Okay? They would never do that. 100%. This is what I mean when I say, of course, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are different. Okay? Especially when it comes to domestic policies. But if the Democrats' alternative vision for America is basically a watered down version of this, then obviously people are going to go for the full thing. They're going to go for the full full strength soda as opposed to the diet soda. Yeah, 60% of nursing homes' income comes from Medicaid, by the way. They are melting the poor, the working poor, and the old. Okay, once again, they do not care. And this isn't like the dog catches the car moment, because it clearly doesn't matter. If there is no true opposition to this, if there isn't like a united front, if there aren't like 1,000 different Zoran Mamdanis that bloom as a consequence of this devastation, and the Democrats are still operating on the Hakeem Jeffries notion of politics, the Chuck Schumer notion of politics, then Americans are just going to get more and more angry. And in that volatility, as we have seen in the past couple of decades, they become incredibly easy to manipulate. They become more and more angry at like random people. They become scared of their own fucking shadows. This is what I've been screaming about. What is Chuck Schumer doing in opposition? News, I just got the name struck off this bill with a move on the floor of the Senate. It's no longer named One Big Beautiful Bill. The bill is big, ugly betrayal of the American people by the Republicans, and the American people will remember
Budget
it.
Act of. I raise a point of order against page 1, lines 3 to 5 of the pending amendment, which violates section 330.
The bill as amended is passed.
Vice President J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote to pass the president's so-called Big Beautiful Bill through the Senate.
Ms. Murkowski.
Republican leaders spent hours courting the vote of Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. She ultimately backed the bill after securing provisions for her home state.
The real reason why she was on board with this is because she was able to avoid it for the next 2 years. Okay, she made an exemption, a carve out for Alaska for 2 years. It does seem worth asking why Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, will support healthcare provisions for the rest of the country that she thinks her state should be exempted from. That is the major point of contention here. Yeah, she called the process agonizing due in part to the rushed timeline of the bill. We do not have a perfect bill by any stretch of the imagination, she told reporters after the vote. My hope is the House is going to look at this and recognize that we're not there yet. And I would hope that we would be able to actually do what we used to do around here, which is work back and forth between the two bodies that is going to be better for the people in this country, and more particularly for the people of Alaska.
But on the other side of the Capitol, some Republican House members were quick to rain on the Senate's parade.
What the Senate did is unconscionable. What they did to our bill was unconscionable. I'll vote against it here, and I'll vote.
You know what's really funny about this is that you have two different forces in the House Republican side of things, because they are the only ones that matter, okay? Let's be real. You have some of the more moderate Republicans that are in areas where they're like, I don't want my constituents' Medicaid to get cut. And then you have the infinitely more important group of people who are saying the cuts are not deep enough. This actually expands the deficit. We can't do this. The moderates are going to turn around and say, oh no, woe is me. I can't believe we're cutting entitlements. I can't believe we're cutting some of these benefits, Medicaid and also SNAP benefits, right? But they will always play ball. They will turn around and go, I guess I have to play ball with this. But on the other hand, you got the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Freedom Caucus, the Tea Party Caucus, the Tea Party Coalition, that will try and stop this bill from passing, or at least dramatically change it so that it has to go back to the Senate, pushing it way past the July 4th deadline that Donald Trump presented, simply because it doesn't fuck the working poor hard enough. Which, in a unique time like this, I'll take that. I'll take it anywhere I can get it. Okay, so congratulations to the Freedom Caucus once again for potentially spiking this bill. I hope that they will make it so impossible to pass that the people in the Senate will turn around and go, yeah, we can't actually pass this. This is terrible.